So in today's video, I'm going to show y'all what I got from TJ Maxx. I purchased yet another robe. Did I need another one? No, but was it on sale? Yes, so I got it. And y'all know me, I love a good old sale. So this is a 9 West robe, and it was $6. And it retails for $78. I don't know what size it is, y'all. I can fit it, but the only thing, it did not come with the strings to close the robe, nor did it come with the inside ones. And if you buy robes, then you know they usually come with that. So this is how it looks on. And it has pockets, obviously. So I went to Hobby Lobby. We're not gonna worry about that other piece of fabric that's in there. And I found this. It's a perfect match. It's just not the waffle print. It is the stretchy polyester. I am going to use this to make the strings for this as well as the ones on the inside. So stay tuned for that.
I don't have a pattern for the strap, so I'm just eyeballing everything, just making sure that it can fit through the loops. The scissors were so dull, so it gave me a hard time, and now I'm just pinning the fabric down because it's so movable, it's so flimsy, and trying to see which thread color goes best with the fabric. Setting up the sewing machine, making sure the bobbin is in there correctly and properly. And then I'm just going to do the stitches on the fabric to make sure that it does not come loose with a tight enough stitch, as well as the second stitch that you'll see me do.
So now that I have sewn all of the strap, I kept saying the string, I got to this point and I'm going to leave that open because I have to turn this inside out. So I'm just going to basically feed it through that small opening, and then I'll hand stitch the rest. And then also when I started off, it caught on the feet of the sewing machine. So I had to do a second line, but I had to really hold it. So if you saw my fingers kind of close, I did hold it so that it can go through without getting caught again. So yeah, I think I'm just going to re-stitch it again outside with a zigzag stitch so that it does not come loose, and then I'll cut the excess fabric.
So this is just a little cleanup, putting the pins back into the pin cushion and then adjusting the sewing machine for the zigzag stitch. I still did a pretty big stitch. I could have done it tighter, but it is what it is.
I hope you can see it. I may have to flip the camera around, but because I don't have a serger, that's the reason why I'm doing this. The straight line and then the zigzag stitch, and I'm going to cut this part off. These scissors were literally giving me the business. Listen, get you some real fabric shears that are not dull and that have not been through the mud, because my goodness. So now that I have the strap all together, I'm going to stitch this part closed. Then I'm going to iron it flat, and then I'm going to start on the smaller piece. I'm just going to use this needle. It's a pretty big needle, which is unnecessary. With this gray piece of thread, you can see it's gray. You won't be able to see it the way I'll stitch it. So I'm just going to start on the inside of where the hole is, just to hide the thread.
So on this part right here, because the thread was already on there, I thought that it had a knot. It did not. So I had to put a knot in the thread because it went straight through. And you're just going to basically sew, but move the needle forward each time you stick it back through the hole that you previously went through. I hope that that makes sense. But just keep moving forward as you stick the needle into the fabric. And that's how you'll get your invisible stitch. I did not do a better close-up, but hopefully you get the idea. And yeah, you can see a little bit, but you can't really tell.
And this was only 1/4 of a yard of fabric, which cost me $1.74. So on top of paying $6 for the robe, cost about $8 for a 9 West robe. So yeah, this will be about the size of the thing, but once you give it the allowance, the seam allowance, and then you flip it inside out, it's going to end up being about that size. Yeah, I may spare you all the details. I may film it. Who knows? We'll see how I'm feeling.
So hopefully some of this footage is not redundant or irrelevant. I was just trying to capture each part of the process. The whole process took me about an hour outside of those raggedy scissors, because all 3 of them were just the worst for this fabric. And I'm just using a safety pin to feed the fabric through the smaller hole. And I am going to sew one side to the robe, and then I'm just going to tie a knot in the other side. So there would be no need for me to hand stitch this or do anything to it. And I'm just measuring the straps to see where I want them to fit on me and sewing them down onto the robe, and the robe is complete.
My robe is complete. I have my string ties, which are just a little bit too long, but I can cut that. That's nothing. So I'm gonna probably cut this till about right here maybe, and then tie some knots on the ends. Tie this. And there we have it. My $6 9 West robe is now complete.